here, class, on the methods of data collection. Okay, so is data collection that important? Yes, it's very important, class, especially that we are in statistics. Why? It's because it helps us researchers to gather, to measure, and to establish a systematic way on how to answer a certain question, or maybe to test a hypothesis, or maybe if you want to evaluate an outcome. Okay, now there are different types of method that we can use, and here it is: the direct method, the indirect method, the registration method, the experiment method, observation, and the focused group discussion. Now let us analyze, or let us discuss this individually. First is this direct method. Direct method, class, is also called interview method, which means that you gather the information directly. Okay, and you can only do this through interview. Here in direct method, there are two types. You can do it face to face, and you can do it on via telephone. Okay, so during the interview, you are collecting a first-hand data, which means that it is really from the original source, which means you are the one who heard it, who've seen it, who've touched it, who observed it directly. Okay, it means that you are there, present, as you gather the information. Okay, and class, indirect method, this is advantages in a case where you can exchange ideas. Okay, it's because you are asking questions, right? So if, for example, the response of the respondent is short, you can ask to elaborate it, or you can follow up questions. You can ask for a follow up, right there in front of him. So that's the advantage of having a direct method. But the only, or the one of the disadvantages of direct method, class, is that it will be somewhat expensive. Not really expensive, but it will really take most of your time, your effort, and of course your money. Why? It's because you have to interview each of your respondents. What if you have, let's say, 50 respondents? Excuse me. You have to interview them face to face, or even call them via telephone, right? In order just to get the information that you want to get. But of course, class, aside from let's say you choose the face to face interview, in our times right now, in our situation right now, it is pandemic. So therefore it is difficult, it will be risky to do the face-to-face interview. Okay, and if, let's say, for example, it's not pandemic, okay, you conduct face-to-face interview, it's okay. But then, class, it's somewhat unrighteous to just interview someone without something in return, right? So although it is not required, but it's much better if there's something that we can give to for that to that respondent. So it could be a token, or maybe just snacks. Okay, treat him for a snacks, maybe a coffee, right? So it's somewhat expensive in that part. So that's one of the disadvantage. Now, when you are using the telephone, since telephone is just voice call or audio call, so you cannot see, or you cannot evaluate the response of the respondent, if he is saying the truth, or maybe he is just lying, someone like that. Unlike, really, if you really do it, or you conduct it face to face, right? You can observe his mannerism, his eyes, his reaction. Okay, from that you'll be able to collect really first-hand data. But like I've said, either of the two, you can conduct the interview method. So it could be face-to-face or telephone. Now, how about this indirect? This indirect method, class. Indirect is also called as questionnaire. So if the direct method is interview, this indirect is questionnaire, which means you are to prepare a question or maybe a series of questions that from that question you'll be able to attain the answers from your study. Okay? So in this type of method, class, it is somewhat cheaper. Why cheaper? Cheaper, as well as it will not take much of your time. Like for example, you have 50 respondents. So all you have to do, prepare questions and then print it out, and then you can photocopy it, right? Photocopy it and then send it to them, to your respondents, without even bothering what am I going to give them as a token, what am I going to buy them for snacks. And aside from that, you have to also think of your expenses in the transportation. It's because, class, not all your respondents are on the same place. It could be that one of your respondents is from Aklan, it could be it is from Manila, or it could be in the Iloilo. Okay, so if you conduct really the interview, so the face-to-face interview, so it could be that you will really spend more just to acquire that information. So unlike here in the questionnaire, it is just easy. It could be through email, or it could be in a, right now, class, we can conduct the questionnaire method in Google Forms, right? The Google can provide questions. It could be in a multiple choice, or it could be true or false, and from that we could get responses from our respondents. See? So it could be that you use the internet, or you could still use the email, or you could still use the post office to deliver your questionnaire. The only disadvantage, not that only, one of the disadvantage of this questionnaire method, class, is that you cannot secure, or you cannot sure that the response will go back to you or will be sent back to you. Okay, because, class, most of your respondents is random people. Okay, your respondent, you don't know them, so you don't have the assurance that they might send it back to you, and that's the problem. That's a problem, class. Also, although you are, it's just easy to send your questionnaire, one of the disadvantage also is that you cannot follow up questions. What if the answer of the respondent is not clear? So you want to clarify it, but you cannot do that. Why? Like I said, you cannot follow up questions in a questionnaire form. Unlike in the interview, that you can directly ask him if there's something that you want to clarify. Okay, this is advantage of questionnaire method. Limited question